Yo, what's good, chat? Happy Monday. It is December 8th, 2025, obviously. And going over the recap of today's trade, caught a nice little 2.6R trade here during AM session live on YouTube. And just wanted to recap it for you guys that maybe didn't catch stream and just going over the thought process and how we got into this trade. So here's the trade, 2.64R, about 48, almost 49 points. Here is the P&L snapshot from Trade Syncer. So 4,800, about $969 per account is what we were able to get away with here, just literally on one mini contract. So one mini contract, 18-point stop, risking about like 370, something like that. But real quick, let's go ahead and I guess jump into replay mode and go over the thought process here for the trade. So I guess first and foremost, let's go ahead and, let's just delete all the drawings. Why not? Fuck it. Delete all the drawings. We'll even delete first presented fair value gap. We don't need that shit. Don't need that shit. Let's go replay mode. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's jump here to like right at market open. So going into market open, if I jump up here to the 15-minute chart, this is what we currently, or this is what we looked like here right before market open. 15-minute time frame chart. You can see that we're still pretty range bound, pretty consolidated. My two areas of interest in terms of a draw was previous weekly high here at 868, and previous day low is right here. So previous day low, Friday low at 579. So these were kind of my two draws for potential targets. And obviously, I'm always watching ES as well, side by side with NASDAQ. So if ES takes out either level, I consider that target reached or draw reached. So just keep that in mind as we roll into this going into today. So market opens up. You guys know that I don't trade the first 15 minutes of market open. So just getting past the first 15-minute candle here, price expands higher. We do not take out previous weekly high. I kind of felt like we would. We stopped just short of previous weekly high. And we were at this moment creating SMT with both ES and NQ. It was a little bit tricky kind of getting a read on price early this morning just because NQ was driving higher at the open, ES was driving lower at the open, and we had a 4-hour gap here to the left that was being held. I'm not going to mark it out because then it'll give away the what happens on the 4-hour candle, but this 4-hour gap ends up being held on NQ. We inverse that 4-hour gap on ES. Keep in mind, this is the first 15-minute candle of open. So going into the next 15-minute candle of open, that gets us to 10 a.m. That gets us to 10 a.m. macro and a new 4-hour candle. So this candle expands down. I did not take anything inside of the first hour of market open today, and just watching price do its thing. But as price started kind of expanding lower here, going into even the end of this 10 a.m. macro, I didn't see an opportunity that I liked to trade at all in this first 30 to 40 minutes, and just kind of let price chop around here. So price is chopping around, and we're just seeing price kind of hold as the macro comes to an end. And in my mind, I'm just looking at this manipulation, right? And if I also go to the 5-minute and I show you guys the sessions, I like to, for those of you guys that ask, like, what's your model? How do you trade? I don't necessarily trade based on like a concrete model that I'm just trading like all the time, every single time. I don't trade that way. I'm always looking for power of three. I'm looking for accumulation, manipulation, distribution, like on fucking repeat. And I'm looking for entry models to align with time to find high probability trade setups toward what I feel that next draw on liquidity happens to be. So like just looking at this, right? It's easy to see. So you see Asia, London. Yes, London takes out Asia, and then right at open we take out London, like we taking out London highs here. And all this is to me as I'm watching this kind of form is I'm viewing both Asia and London both as accumulation. I'm watching this. I'm viewing this as manipulation now. And I'm also looking at here this kind of opening range manipulation, if you will. I'm looking at this as our manipulation and now projecting this down, right? Projecting out this range down to below these lows. So I'm expecting at this point, now that 10 a.m. macro has come and gone and we haven't reversed and we have not taken previous weekly high or previous day low on ES or NQ, at this point I was predicting that ES or NQ would go to previous day low. And spoiler, ES beat us to that previous day low, or beat NQ to that previous day low. So I ended up using that as a target. But just watching this kind of play out here, as we go, we start expanding lower, and then price starts retracing, right? We're retracing here going into 1030, and then we actually leave behind a 5-minute bearish fair value gap. So at this moment, marked out this 5-minute bearish fair value gap. I did not mark it out, but just kind of eyeballing this. If you also mark out just this range from this swing high to this swing low, and you were to slap a fib on it, this 5-minute gap also aligns with 50% of this range. So what are we usually waiting to see for continuation trades? We're waiting for price to rebalance to 50% of the range, get to either premium or discount, and then to scale in and then find lower time frame PD arrays to confirm that the price is ready to continue. And obviously there's always an element of time involved as well. So the new 30-minute candle opens up right here, and we push up into this 5-minute bearish fair value gap, but we hold the gap. We do not inverse the gap. We end up actually closing below 50%. So scaling in here to the 2-minute is actually what I ended up using, because the 1-minute did not really form super clean here, at least. And once we rebalanced and held this 5-minute gap, to me, there was nothing else for us to really trade back for before continuing towards the draw. So found this 2-minute fair value gap and basically just framed up a 2-minute inversion off of this. And here we get it right here. So 2-minute inversion right there. I set a limit order on the retest of the inversion fair value gap right there. Stop at the high, and was just targeting external lows. And also part of this was that ES had not taken out that previous day low yet, right? So when ES was going to take out the previous day low, it did work out really nice. So price taps me in there. And we kind of had to hold through some chop getting into the macro. So then once macro begins right there, you can finally see price start accelerating. So this was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 minutes. And then finally we get a couple more expansion candles down in the macro. Boom, taking out that draw on liquidity. And it worked out nice because we ended up taking out this external low at the same time as ES taking out that Friday previous day low. So that is when my take profit got hit literally at the same time. Did not have to worry about SMT, did not have to worry about closing early or anything like that. The one thing that I do want to just kind of point out here, and this is for the macro haters crowd, but notice how like price is like really slow and really choppy all the way up until the macro. I'm showing you guys the 1-minute chart now. And notice how boom, 1050 comes in and we automatically start spooling. And then all of a sudden there's clean delivery. Like there was also like, even if you were waiting until the macro to actually enter a trade, like even this 1-minute gap would have been a great entry, right? You could have entered off this 1-minute fair value gap, stop here at the high, targeting the same external low. And you're still getting, a good risk reward on that, almost 2R. But I just liked, again, like I said, when we pulled back, rebalanced 50%, holding the 5-minute gap, like there's nothing else for us to do anymore. There's no reason for us to go higher if we're going to continue towards the draw. So at that point, that's why I took this 2-minute entry here at like 240 or 241. I'm sorry, what am I saying? 1040 or 1041. So a little before the macro, and then just expecting to hold through, be patient, going into the macro, and then just let macro do its thing and expand towards the draw. So that was it, man. That was the trade from today. Like I said, P&L 4,846. Here's the executions one more time. And that'll be it, guys. Yeah, so kind of an interesting week. Obviously, we got, no news today. We got Joel's jobs tomorrow. But the big thing is going to be FOMC this week. So I'm not holding a lot of expectation today, tomorrow, and I'm not also expecting to take trades where I'm going for big runners or anything like that. Like I'm taking low-hanging fruit targets, knowing that we're anticipating a big news driver coming this week. So that's really my plan for today, tomorrow. Felt like I was really patient, executed extremely well today. Very pleased with the performance today, to be honest. And yeah, that's really all there is to say. Great start to the week. So yeah, guys, if you want, select plans with Tradeify are on sale for a little bit longer. They extended the promotion to the 10th, right? So the 10th at midnight. So until Wednesday of this week, you guys can still take advantage of the 40% off if you guys would like. And what else was I going to say? Is there anything else I need to mention before I let you guys go? I don't think so. But if you guys can, go to if you've made it this far in the video, I want you guys to comment, macros are real. Okay? If you've made it this far in the video, comment, macros are real. There's this crowd of people out there, boys and girls, that like to live in denial that macros don't exist. But here we are, showing that macros do exist day after day after day. So with that being said, appreciate you guys. Hit the like button before you go. Hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know down below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on stream tomorrow. Peace and love, guys.